Welcome, Pisces. I need to share what I'm seeing in these cards because this energy is incredibly intense and you deserve to understand what's unfolding around you right now. This is a general reading for entertainment purposes, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But what I'm picking up involves serious karmic activity, financial blessings arriving, and someone who interfered with your spiritual work now dealing with unexpected consequences. Before I even touched these cards, I felt this electric charge in the air, like hidden things are being dragged into light and the universe is settling accounts. From what I'm interpreting, someone has discovered your spiritual practices, whether that's manifestation work, energy clearing, protection rituals, or deeper metaphysical studies, and they've made the choice to expose this information, either confronting you directly or sharing it with others in an attempt to undermine you. What they didn't anticipate is that messing with someone who actually knows what they're doing spiritually carries consequences they weren't prepared for. The cards are showing me that while this person thought they were revealing damaging secrets, they've actually activated a karmic response that's affecting their own well-being, manifesting as illness or disturbance in their life. Meanwhile, the very exposure they orchestrated is opening financial doors for you, bringing recognition that translates into material opportunities, and proving that your spiritual work has been legitimate and powerful all along. What I'm sensing suggests this isn't random coincidence. This is spiritual law in action, where someone who attacks another's sovereignty experiences the backlash of their own negative intent, while the person they targeted receives cosmic compensation. Let me show you exactly what these 10 cards reveal about money flowing toward you, the revelation of your practices, and the karmic justice unfolding. The sun blazed out first, and when this card appeared, I immediately felt vindication energy. Like truth is shining so brilliantly that nothing can remain hidden, and innocence is being proven through pure radiance. The sun shows a naked child riding a white horse beneath an enormous golden sun, sunflowers standing tall in the background, and there's this quality of uncomplicated joy, success that can't be diminished, and light that exposes everything without shame. What strikes me about the sun appearing in this context is that it represents revelation, but not the kind this other person intended. Instead of your practices being exposed as something shameful or wrong, the sun is illuminating your genuine power, your authentic spiritual connection, your real effectiveness with energy work. They thought dragging your practices into daylight would damage you, but the sun says that exposure only proves your legitimacy. In practical terms, this is manifesting as people actually being impressed rather than judgmental when they learn about your spiritual work, recognition coming from unexpected quarters, and your reputation strengthening instead of weakening. What I'm picking up is that you've been working with manifestation, probably calling in abundance and protection, and the results have been visible enough that someone noticed your sudden improvements or accelerated success and got curious, then suspicious. When they discovered your methods, they assumed exposure would undermine your achievements, but the sun reveals that your success is real regardless of method. And knowing you work with spiritual technology actually makes people respect your resourcefulness rather than doubt your legitimacy. The financial connection here is direct. The sun represents success and abundance manifesting in visible, tangible ways, which means money is coming through channels that are obvious and public rather than hidden. You might receive recognition at work that leads to raises or promotions, public acknowledgement of your talents that attracts paying opportunities, or simply a shift in how people perceive your value that translates into financial offers. King of Wands follows, and this card shows me exactly who you are in this situation. Not a victim of exposure, but a master owning their power. The King of Wands sits confidently on his throne, decorated with salamanders, holding his flowering wand like a scepter. And there's this unmistakable energy of leadership, creative fire, and absolute confidence in one's abilities. When this king appeared after the sun, I felt this shift from passive radiance to active command, like you're not just letting your light shine accidentally, but wielding it as a deliberate tool. What the King of Wands reveals is that your spiritual practices weren't random experiments or borrowed rituals. You've studied, developed skill, and reached a level of genuine competency that produces consistent results. This is someone who understands energy as technology, who works with intention and will, who has mastered the art of manifestation through dedicated practice. The person who exposed you sensed this mastery and felt threatened by it, which is why they acted. In the context of someone becoming ill after revealing your work, the King of Wands shows that you've established strong energetic boundaries and protections. Not aggressive attacks, but solid defensive structures that automatically respond when someone pushes against them with malicious intent. When this person violated your privacy and sovereignty, they encountered the full force of your established protections, and their system couldn't process that level of energy. The practical manifestation of the King of Wands is you stepping into visible leadership and authority, particularly around your career and finances. This king is an entrepreneur and creator who builds their own success rather than waiting for permission, and you're being called into that energy now. Your spiritual work has been supporting your material goals all along, and now that it's partially revealed, you might as well own it completely and let it enhance your professional reputation rather than hide it in shame. The Tower crashes in with sudden, violent energy, and this card shows me exactly what's happening to the person who interfered. The Tower depicts a solid stone structure being struck by lightning, people tumbling from the windows, the crown at the top exploding off, and it's this image of everything that seemed stable suddenly collapsing without warning. When I pulled the Tower, I felt this jolt of shock, this sense of security being shattered, of false foundations crumbling under the weight of truth. In your situation, the Tower represents the destruction falling on this person who attacked you. They thought they stood on solid ground, thought knowing your secrets gave them power over you. But the moment they acted on that information with malicious intent, everything they believed was secure started falling apart. What's crucial to understand about the Tower is that it only destroys what's built on lies, illusions, or wrong foundations. It can't touch anything genuinely solid. This person's sense of superiority, their belief that they could manipulate you or damage your reputation without consequences, their assumption that spiritual work is just pretend with no real power. All of that is being demolished by reality. The Tower is showing that their attack on you has backfired catastrophically, and the illness you mentioned is one manifestation of this collapse. From a karmic perspective, the Tower is divine intervention. It's the universe saying enough and forcibly correcting situations that have become too unbalanced. What I'm sensing is that this person started experiencing problems almost immediately after they revealed your practices, sudden health issues that seem to come out of nowhere, and they're probably confused or even frightened by how quickly their life has turned chaotic. The Tower manifesting as illness means their physical body is literally rejecting the toxic energy they tried to send your way, processing the backlash of their own malice, and this isn't something that resolves quickly because the Tower represents fundamental restructuring, not minor adjustments. For you, the Tower's appearance is actually positive because it shows that what they tried to destroy in your life is still standing while their own foundations crumble, proving whose spiritual work is actually built on truth. Six of Wands arrives with celebration energy, and I'm seeing public recognition that completely contradicts what this person intended. The Six of Wands shows a figure on horseback wearing a victory laurel, holding a wand crowned with another wreath, surrounded by people celebrating and acknowledging their triumph. When this card appeared, I felt this surge of validation, like you're not just surviving this exposure, but being celebrated because of it. What's remarkable about the Six of Wands here is that it represents your reputation being enhanced rather than damaged by the revelation of your spiritual practices. The people who matter, the ones who can actually impact your opportunities and income, they're seeing you differently now, with more interest, more respect, more recognition of your uniqueness. This is the card of returning victorious from battle, and in your case, the battle was someone's attempt to shame you, and you're emerging with your standing elevated rather than diminished. In practical scenarios, this looks like people reaching out to you with new interest, asking about your perspective or insights, recognizing that you have knowledge and abilities they don't. Your spiritual reputation, instead of being a liability, is becoming an asset that attracts opportunities. What I'm picking up specifically is that some people are intrigued by the effectiveness of your work. They see that your manifestation practices produce real results, and that makes you valuable in their eyes. This might manifest as job opportunities that specifically want your intuitive input, business partnerships with people who appreciate that you work with energy, as well as strategy, or social elevation, where you're now seen as someone with specialized knowledge worth paying for. The Six of Wands connects directly to money because recognition opens doors. When you're celebrated and acknowledged, opportunities naturally flow toward you, and those opportunities carry financial rewards. Three of Wands shows expansion happening faster than you expected. The Three of Wands depicts a figure standing on a cliff overlooking the ocean, watching three ships sailing toward shore, and there's this energy of anticipation, of ventures already launched that will return with abundance. When I pulled this card, I felt this opening sensation like your world is getting bigger, and what seemed like a crisis is actually catalyzing growth you wouldn't have experienced otherwise. The Three of Wands is about plans in motion and progress toward goals, showing that your spiritual work, particularly your manifestation practices around abundance, has set things in motion that are now arriving. What's significant is that this card appears after the Six of Wands, indicating that public recognition is leading to actual expansion of your opportunities and reach. The person who exposed your practices inadvertently gave you visibility, and visibility creates growth for someone with real substance. In practical terms, the Three of Wands represents multiple income streams, opportunities from unexpected directions, your work or influence expanding into new territories. What I'm interpreting is that you might start seeing financial offers from people you don't know, opportunities in areas you hadn't previously considered, or existing ventures suddenly growing beyond what you'd planned. Your known spiritual abilities are actually accelerating this expansion because people who understand energy work tend to succeed at whatever they attempt. Manifestation skills translate across all areas of life. The emotional landscape of this card is excitement mixed with patience, where you can see your success approaching, but you're not quite holding it yet, and that's fine because you trust that what you've set in motion will arrive. The guidance here is to stay focused on your goals rather than getting distracted by drama around the exposure or this person's illness, and to prepare for actual growth because the ships carrying your abundance are definitely sailing toward shore. Six of Pentacles appears with this beautiful energy of receiving, and this is where money becomes literal and physical. The Six of Pentacles shows a wealthy merchant holding scales, distributing coins to people who need them, and there's this sense of resources flowing, generosity in action, balance being restored. When this card appeared, I felt this wave of relief, like the universe is literally putting money in your hands. The Six of Pentacles is the ultimate abundance card because it shows actual financial transactions happening, not just potential or energy, but concrete exchange of resources. In your context, this card reveals that you're moving into the position of receiver. Money is being given to you, handed to you, flowing toward you from sources that want to support you. What's particularly powerful is that the Six of Pentacles operates on karmic balance. Someone tried to take from you by damaging your reputation and peace, and now the universe is giving to you through multiple channels to restore equilibrium and actually increase your prosperity as compensation. In practical manifestation, this looks like money arriving from both expected and surprising sources. Regular income increasing, unexpected bonuses or gifts, opportunities that pay better than anticipated, people offering you money for services or insights. What I'm picking up specifically is that your spiritual reputation, now that it's somewhat public, is directly creating income opportunities. People might want to pay you for readings, consultations, or simply your perspective on situations because they recognize you have access to information and insight they don't. Even if you have no intention of becoming a professional spiritual practitioner, your known abilities make you more valuable in any field, because manifestation skills, intuitive decision-making, and energy awareness are assets in business, relationships, and life navigation. The Six of Pentacles also represents you possibly giving once you receive, maintaining the flow of generosity that keeps abundance circulating. But right now, the emphasis is on you being in position to receive without guilt or hesitation. The High Priestess emerges with mysterious, powerful energy. And this card shows me the depth of knowledge this person stumbled into without comprehending. The High Priestess sits between two pillars with sacred scrolls, the moon at her feet, and she represents hidden wisdom, mystical knowledge, and secrets that can't be learned through ordinary means. When this card appeared, I immediately felt this sense of vast depth, like what was revealed about your practices is surface level compared to what you actually know and can access. The High Priestess indicates that you haven't just learned spiritual techniques from books or online. You've developed genuine intuitive abilities, established direct connection to higher wisdom, and accessed mysteries through your own inner work. This person who exposed you saw your tools, your rituals, maybe some spells you've performed, but they have absolutely no comprehension of the inner development that makes those external practices effective. They saw the form without understanding the substance, the ritual without grasping the consciousness behind it. In terms of why they got ill after revealing your work, the High Priestess shows that they violated something sacred without understanding what they were touching, like someone desecrating a temple, not realizing it's protected by forces beyond their comprehension. Your spiritual practice includes protection work, energetic boundaries that you've established through conscious intention and connection to Source, and these protections aren't just wishful thinking. They're real structures in the energetic realm that respond automatically when violated. When this person pushed against your sovereignty with malicious intent, they encountered barriers they couldn't see or understand, and their system experienced the shock of that encounter as illness. The High Priestess doesn't attack, but she represents the boundary between mundane and sacred, and crossing that boundary unprepared has natural consequences. Eight of Swords shows up, and this card depicts exactly what's trapping the person who attacked you. The Eight of Swords shows a figure bound and blindfolded, surrounded by 8 swords planted in mud, and there's this claustrophobic sense of being imprisoned, unable to move forward or escape. When I pulled this card, I felt restriction, mental anguish, and the particular suffering of being trapped by your own perceptions. In the context of someone experiencing illness after exposing your spiritual work, the Eight of Swords represents their current state. They're trapped in the consequences they created, bound by karma they activated, blindfolded to any solution because they don't understand spiritual mechanics. This card often shows victimhood mentality, but here it's revealing actual victimization by their own negativity. They thought they were taking powerful action against you, but they were actually constructing their own prison, each act of malice adding another sword to their confinement. What's particularly telling about the Eight of Swords is that the bindings are loose enough to escape, and the blindfold is self-imposed. Freedom is available if they take responsibility, apologize sincerely, and shift their entire perspective. But they're not capable of that level of awareness yet. They're stuck in blame, probably convinced you've cursed them or attacked them, unable to see that they're experiencing natural consequences of their own actions. In practical terms, this person is likely experiencing not just physical illness, but mental torment, obsessive thoughts about you, inability to move forward in any area of life, and deepening sense of being trapped with no way out. Every aspect of their life that was working is probably falling apart or becoming restricted. What's important for you to understand is that this isn't your responsibility. The High Priestess showed your boundaries are strong, and the Eight of Swords confirms those boundaries are holding. This person is trapped outside your energy field, unable to truly harm you, dealing with their own reflection. Judgment arrives with the weight of cosmic law, and this card shows me the karmic mechanism operating in your situation. Judgment depicts an angel blowing a trumpet, while figures rise from graves in a moment of ultimate reckoning, and there's this sense of divine justice, of everyone receiving exactly what they've earned through their actions. When this card appeared, I felt this whoosh of universal authority, like decisions are being made at the highest level, and consequences are being distributed with perfect accuracy. In your situation, judgment represents the karmic response to both your actions and theirs. They violated your sovereignty and attempted harm, so they're experiencing judgment through illness and life collapse, while you maintained your integrity and used your spiritual knowledge responsibly, so you're experiencing judgment through financial blessing and recognition. What's powerful about judgment is that it's not punishment in the petty human sense, but natural law asserting itself. Actions create corresponding results at the soul level, and what this person did carried spiritual weight that demanded response. For them, judgment is a wake-up call, an opportunity to recognize what they've done, take responsibility, and transform. Though whether they'll accept that opportunity remains to be seen. For you, judgment is validation, the universe confirming that your practices are aligned, your intentions are clear, your protections are just, and you deserve the abundance flowing toward you. In practical terms, judgment manifests as a turning point, a before and after moment where everything shifts. After seeing how cosmic justice operates, after witnessing someone get sick from attacking you while you receive blessings for maintaining your path, you're stepping into new confidence and authority. Judgment also represents callings and life purpose, suggesting you might be called to share your spiritual knowledge more openly, teach what you've learned, or help others who are developing similar practices. The money arriving is karmic compensation, the universe paying you for your development, your integrity, your willingness to work with spiritual law rather than against it. The Chariot charges in as the final card, and this energy is pure forward momentum and victory. The Chariot shows an armored warrior in a vehicle pulled by two sphinxes, one black and one white, and there's this sense of controlled power, directed will, and unstoppable movement toward goals despite opposing forces. When this card appeared, I felt determination and triumph, like you've harnessed all the chaotic energy of this situation, and you're using it as fuel to drive toward your objectives faster than ever. The Chariot is about mastery and conquest, showing that you're not just surviving the revelation of your practices, but actively leveraging everything that's happened to accelerate your progress. The two sphinxes represent opposing forces, maybe your private spiritual life and your new public visibility, maybe your compassion for this ill person and your satisfaction at karmic justice, maybe your desire for peace and your anger at being violated. And the Chariot says you're learning to harness both, letting them work together to pull you forward instead of tearing you apart. What I'm picking up is that you've made a decision, Pisces. You're not backing down, not hiding, not apologizing, not letting this person's actions or their resulting illness slow you in any way. You're moving forward with your spiritual practices, your financial goals, your life purpose, and you're doing it with fierce confidence and speed. In practical terms, the Chariot shows up as you taking bold action on opportunities, making decisive moves in career or business, initiating changes that accelerate your path to success. You're not waiting for permission or worrying about judgment. You're driving your own life with clear intention and unstoppable will. The connection to money through the Chariot is about conquest and claim. You're not passively receiving abundance. You're actively pursuing it, creating it, manifesting it through aligned action backed by spiritual power. Your manifestation work has included courage, motivation, and road-opening practices, and all of that is producing real-world momentum where you see opportunities and you seize them immediately. The illness affecting the person who exposed you has actually freed up energy for you. Whatever drain or interference they represented is neutralized, leaving you with clear path and full power available for your own advancement. The Chariot is victory, and you're crossing finish lines while they're stuck at the starting gate dealing with consequences they created. So Pisces, let me bring this full circle because you need to understand the complete picture. Someone discovered your spiritual practices and chose to expose them, thinking revelation would damage you, diminish your credibility, or undermine your success. What they didn't grasp is that they were interfering with someone who has real knowledge, established protections, and genuine spiritual power, not aesthetic witchiness, but actual working understanding of energy and manifestation. When they attacked your sovereignty by revealing your practices with malicious intent, they violated spiritual law, and the universe responded immediately with consequences. The illness they're experiencing is karmic backlash, toxic energy bouncing off your protections and returning to sender, their body processing energies they're not equipped to handle, their life reflecting the violation they committed. Meanwhile, everything they tried to destroy is flourishing. Your reputation enhanced rather than damaged, recognition increasing rather than decreasing, money flowing through multiple streams because your manifestation work was legitimate and the universe is rewarding your integrity. The sun proved that exposure reveals your power, not your weakness. King of Wands confirmed your mastery and legitimate spiritual authority. The Tower showed their foundations crumbling while yours stand firm. Six of Wands brought recognition that translates to opportunity. Three of Wands revealed expansion and abundance sailing toward you. Six of Pentacles showed money literally being placed in your hands through multiple sources. The High Priestess confirmed your genuine depth of knowledge and the sacred boundaries they violated. Eight of Swords depicted them trapped in self-created consequences. Judgment demonstrated cosmic justice, distributing exactly what each person earned. The Chariot completed the reading with your unstoppable momentum toward victory and success. This is a general reading for entertainment, and I'm interpreting what I see in the cards, but the message is clear. Someone messed with the wrong person, attempted harm against someone with real spiritual protection, and they're experiencing exactly what they tried to cause, while you receive exactly what you manifested. Money is coming not despite this situation, but partially because of it. The drama accelerated your manifestations. The exposure attracted new opportunities. Karmic balance is tipping heavily in your favor. From what I'm sensing, expect income from multiple sources, including opportunities related to your now known spiritual abilities, success in regular work enhanced by your manifestation skills, and direct financial windfalls as universal compensation. You don't need guilt about their illness. That's between them and karma, consequences of their own actions, lessons they apparently needed. Your job is to receive your blessings, continue your practices with confidence, and build the prosperous life you've been deliberately manifesting through skilled spiritual work.